The blue world of Ylysera turned slowly beneath the shadow of the human ship Odyssey 9. The planet looked calm from orbit, glowing with silver clouds and long rivers that reflected the twin suns. But everyone on board knew that this was no ordinary world. The scanners showed strange energy patterns under the surface, and there were whispers among the scientists that something ancient was sleeping there. Lieutenant Ryan Hale stood near the viewport, watching the clouds twist like waves. He wasn't a soldier by choice. He was an engineer who believed in exploration, not conquest. Still, he wore his uniform proudly. Humanity had come far, from fighting for survival on Earth to reaching the distant stars. But Ylysera felt different. He couldn't explain it, yet every time he looked down at the planet, he felt like someone was looking back. When the landing order came, Ryan joined the first team to descend. Their shuttle passed through thick silver mist and touched down on soft ground near a field of glowing stones. The air shimmered faintly with colors that didn't exist on any other world. As the crew began setting up scanners and sensor grids, Ryan wandered a little away, drawn by the gentle hum that came from the rocks. He bent down, running his gloved fingers over the surface of one. The stone felt alive and warm, almost breathing. Suddenly, a faint voice brushed his thoughts like wind carrying a whisper. He turned sharply, scanning the mist. Nothing. He told himself it was only his imagination. Then he saw her. At first, he thought it was a trick of the light. A slender shape stood half hidden behind a curtain of mist. Silver hair floated like strands of light, and her eyes glowed softly, reflecting the blue of Ylysera's moons. She didn't move. She simply watched him, calm, curious, and unafraid. Ryan's pulse quickened. "Hello?" he said quietly through his comms. The sensors showed no life signs nearby. Still, the figure stepped closer. Her movements were graceful, her feet barely disturbing the ground. "Do you wish to see it, human?" the girl whispered. The words weren't spoken aloud. They slid into his mind, clear and soft like a melody. He froze, confused. "Who are you?" he asked. She tilted her head, her expression unreadable. "You look at what you do not understand," she said, her voice echoing inside him. "Yet your eyes do not hold fear." Ryan didn't answer right away. Training told him to retreat, call for backup, report any intelligent contact. But curiosity anchored him where he stood. He had seen many strange things across the galaxy, but nothing like this. The girl looked fragile, but the air around her carried power, the kind that felt older than humanity itself. "What do you mean, see it?" he asked finally. Her lips curved slightly, almost like a smile. "The memory," she said. "The truth beneath your feet." The air around them shimmered brighter. Ryan felt his skin prickle even through the suit. The girl raised her hand, palm facing him, and the ground began to glow with soft blue light. He took a step back but then stopped. Something deep inside whispered that this was not danger. It was invitation. He nodded once, almost without realizing it. The girl's eyes brightened, and suddenly the world shifted. The mist spun around them faster and faster until the camp and the crew were gone. Ryan tried to speak, but no sound came out. Then the light faded, and he found himself standing in a vast hall made of crystal and air. The walls pulsed with color like veins carrying light instead of blood. The girl stood a few steps away, her glow softer now. "Do not be afraid," she said. "Ylysera remembers those who listen." Ryan looked around, amazed. The chamber seemed alive. It breathed with rhythm like the heart of the planet itself. Floating above them were countless orbs of light, each showing faint images, cities, stars, faces, and battles. They flickered like memories replaying across time. "What is this place?" he asked. "The heart of my people," she said quietly. "You call it ruins, but it is not dead. We became this." Her words made little sense to him. "It became the planet?" She looked down, touching one of the glowing walls. "When the war came, we had two choices, to fight and vanish or to sleep within the world that gave us life. So we chose silence." Ryan watched her face. There was sorrow in her expression, but also pride. He felt the weight of history pressing down on him. Humanity had come searching for resources, for knowledge to use, but this was something sacred. He took a slow breath. "You're saying your people are still here, in these lights?" "Yes," she whispered. "And now you stand among their dreams." For a moment neither spoke. The quiet hum of the chamber filled the air. Ryan wanted to ask thousands of questions, but words felt too small for the place he stood in. The girl turned toward him again. You feel it, don't you? The connection. Elizera knows your kind, humans who walk between destruction and hope. Ryan frowned slightly. You know about humans? Long before you came, the stars carried your signal, she said. You reached across the dark and the worlds listened. Some feared you. Some admired you. I wanted to see if the stories were true. What stories? He asked. That humans have hearts that remember. Ryan didn't know what to say. The girl moved closer, her eyes shining with faint silver light. You still wish to see more? She asked softly. He nodded. Yes, she reached out her hand again. When his glove touched hers, the chamber flared with light. He saw visions, endless fleets burning in orbit, ancient towers collapsing, and streams of energy diving into the planet like falling stars. Then came silence. When the images faded, Ryan stumbled back, breathing hard. Your world destroyed itself. To protect the memory, she said. To keep what we were from becoming a weapon. Her voice trembled. Now your people search for it again. Ryan thought of his ship in orbit, the research team already planning to dig deeper to unlock the energy readings. He suddenly understood the danger. They don't know, he said. They'll think this is just some kind of ancient power source. The girl looked at him with sadness. Would they listen if you told them otherwise? Ryan hesitated. His orders were clear: collect data, recover samples, and report. But nothing in his training had prepared him for a living world, for a being who carried the souls of her people inside her. The girl's expression softened. You have a choice, human. You can leave this place and let them take what they want. Or you can see what lies beneath, what should remain sleeping. He felt the ground hum beneath his boots, as if the planet was waiting for his answer. I came here to understand, he said finally. Not to take. Her eyes glimmered almost like tears. Then you are different from the others. For a moment the hall darkened. Faint tremors shook the ground, distant but growing stronger. The girl turned her gaze upward. They are coming. Your people have found the gate. Ryan's comms crackled to life suddenly, voices shouting his name, asking for his location. He looked at her, torn between duty and awe. If I go back, they'll keep searching, he said. They'll destroy this place. Then you must stop them, she whispered. But first you must know what they awaken. Before he could respond, light burst from the floor, wrapping them both in brilliance. He shielded his eyes, but her voice stayed calm and close. Do you wish to see it, human? She asked once more. Ryan swallowed hard, heart pounding. Show me. And the world of Elizera opened before him, a living memory stretching across centuries, waiting for one human to decide whether to protect it or let it burn. Light surrounded Ryan like a storm of stars. He couldn't move, couldn't breathe. It felt as if the air itself had turned into sound, a low, deep tone that passed through his bones. The alien girl, Lyra, stood beside him with her eyes closed, her silver hair floating around her as if underwater. The brightness softened, and suddenly they were standing in the middle of an endless plain filled with broken towers made of crystal. The sky glowed with red and gold, but no sun was visible. Strange shapes moved far in the distance, echoes of beings that once lived there. This is what was, Lyra said quietly. Elizera before the silence. Ryan looked around. He saw tall, elegant figures walking through the city. They looked like Lyra, though brighter, their bodies made of faint light. The city shimmered, alive with energy. Flying ships glided above, leaving trails of color in the air. It's beautiful, Ryan whispered. It was, she replied, until we forgot who we were. The vision changed. The skies turned dark. Flashes of fire split the horizon. Giant machines descended from space, and the elegant towers began to fall. The sound of explosions shook the plain. Ryan shielded his face, though he knew none of it was real. Our people discovered power buried in the heart of Elizera, Lyra said. It was meant to heal and give life, but we turned it into a weapon. He saw armies marching, ships firing beams that shattered mountains. The once living city burned in silence. Lyra's expression remained calm, but her voice trembled. When the end came, our leaders decided to save what they could. not our bodies but our memory. We merged with the world, each of us becoming part of its mind. Elizra is not dead, human. It dreams. Ryan stared at her, his thoughts racing. And you? You're one of them? I am a fragment, she said. A voice that the world created to speak once more. It waited for someone who could listen. Why me? Because you did not come with greed, she said softly. You came with questions. You looked with wonder, not hunger. Ryan lowered his head. He thought of his crew, of the scientists up in orbit who would soon start drilling, searching for energy cores. They didn't know this world was alive. To them, it was only another mission, another prize for humanity's growing reach. He looked back at Lyra. If my people disturb this place, what will happen? Her eyes dimmed. The world will defend itself. It remembers the pain of war. It will not allow another. The meaning was clear. If the humans started their work, Elizra might destroy them, and maybe itself again. Ryan clenched his fists. Then I have to stop them. She stepped closer. They will not believe you. They will think this is illusion. Then show me something they can't deny, he said. Something they'll see and understand. Lyra studied him for a long time. You risk much for people who will not thank you. That's what humans do, he answered quietly. A faint smile touched her lips. She reached toward a glowing pillar near them. Then I will give you the truth. The pillar cracked open, revealing a sphere of light inside. It pulsed like a heart. Ryan felt its warmth on his face. The images around them changed again. He saw the moment the Elizarans made their final choice, standing hand in hand, as the planet consumed them in light, turning them into energy and memory. Their final thoughts echoed in his mind. Remember us kindly, whoever finds us next. Ryan swallowed hard. They sacrificed everything. Yes, Lyra said, for peace that never came. He looked up. The vision began to fade, and the crystal plane dissolved into mist again. They were back in the glowing chamber beneath the surface. Ryan's knees felt weak. His communicator blinked red. He had missed dozens of calls. Lieutenant Hale, respond immediately. A harsh voice came through the static. We've lost your signal. The drones are deploying. Lyra turned her head toward the sound. Her glow dimmed. It begins, she murmured. Ryan pressed his comm. Captain, abort drone launch. There's something alive down here. Intelligent. The reply came back sharp. Lieutenant, you're out of line. Return to the shuttle. That's an order. He stared at Lyra, torn between duty and what he had just seen. They won't stop. No, she said. But you can still guide them. You can speak for Elizra. How? He asked helplessly. Her fingers brushed his temple. A soft surge of light flowed into him. Memories, not his but hers, filled his mind. Stars, names, songs of other worlds, the feeling of standing beneath twin moons for the first time. It was overwhelming yet peaceful. When they see through your eyes, they will know, she whispered. Ryan gasped as the connection faded. His heart raced, his body trembling. What did you do? I gave you part of our memory, she said. You are now witness. Suddenly the ground shook. A distant explosion echoed through the tunnels. Dust fell from the ceiling. They've started drilling, Ryan said. Lyra's eyes glowed brighter. They pierced the outer shell. If they reach the core, the planet will awaken. He grabbed her hand. Then we need to go. Show me the way out. She hesitated, then nodded. Follow me. They ran through winding halls of crystal. The walls flashed with warning lights and the hum grew louder with every step. Ryan's suit scanner went wild. Energy levels were spiking. He could hear his crewmates' voices faintly through the comms, shouting, panicked. When they reached the surface, the night sky was filled with fire. Drones floated above, firing drills of light into the ground. Each impact made the air tremble. Ryan waved his arms, shouting into the radio, "Stop the drills! You're waking something alive down here!" "Lieutenant, stand down," the captain's voice roared. "You're not authorized to—" Before the order finished, the earth cracked open. A column of blue light shot into the sky, splitting the clouds. The drones went dark one by one. Static filled the radio. Ryan fell to his knees, shielding his face from the blast of energy. Lyra stood beside him, calm and still. "The planet is remembering," she said softly. All around them the ground began to glow with patterns, the same markings that lined her skin. The air filled with distant voices, not screaming, but singing. The song rose like wind, carrying sorrow and hope together. Ryan looked at her in awe. "Can you stop it?" "I can speak to it," she said, "but only if it listens." "Then I'll help you," he said without hesitation. She stared at him, surprised. "You would risk your life for a world not your own?" He nodded. "If I don't, everyone dies. That includes my people too." She closed her eyes. Her glow spread outward, connecting with the lines of light on the ground. The song grew stronger. Ryan felt it in his chest, deep and powerful. He didn't understand the words, but he knew their meaning. The world was remembering, waking from its long sleep, unsure if it should trust the newcomers who had disturbed its rest. The mist thickened again. The lights pulsed slower, steadier. Lyra opened her eyes. "It is watching you, human. It feels your truth. It waits for your answer." Ryan stood slowly, staring at the sky where his ship hovered like a distant star. He knew the crew was watching, recording everything. "Tell it this," he said quietly. "We came here as explorers, not thieves. We were blind, but we can learn." Lyra repeated his words in a voice that echoed across the plain. The light from the ground softened. The tremors faded. Then, as suddenly as it began, silence returned. The world held its breath. Ryan looked around, unsure if it was over. "Did it understand?" Lyra smiled faintly. "Perhaps. It sleeps again. For now." He turned to her. "What happens if they keep trying to dig?" She met his eyes. "Then it will never forgive." He felt the weight of that warning sink into him. His mission was no longer about collecting samples. It was about saving lives, both human and alien. As dawn rose over Elisira's twin moons, the light painted the land in silver and gold. Lyra's form began to fade into the mist. "Wait," Ryan said quickly. "Will I see you again?" Her voice was gentle, already distant. "When your people learn to listen, I will be here." He reached out, but she was gone, leaving only the faint hum of the living world beneath his feet. Ryan stood alone on the glowing plain, looking at the sky. His comm crackled with confused voices from orbit, but he hardly heard them. All he could think about was her whisper, and the question that still echoed in his mind. "Do you wish to see it, human?" He finally understood what she meant. To see was not just to look, but to understand. And now he did. Ryan stood in silence long after the light disappeared. The twin suns were rising now, casting gold streaks across the misty plains. The world looked peaceful again, almost as if nothing had happened. Yet his heart still echoed with the song he had heard, the song of a living planet. The radio on his wrist crackled sharply. "Lieutenant Hale." "Respond." He hesitated, then tapped it. "I'm here, Captain. Report your location. You vanished from scanners and we lost 3 drones to an unknown interference." Ryan looked at the ground. The glowing lines had faded to faint dust. "It wasn't interference," he said quietly. "The planet did it." There was a pause, then the captain's voice hardened. "Lieutenant, that's not possible. Return to base immediately." He looked toward the distant shuttle lights. Every step felt heavier. His mind burned with the images Lyra had shown him. The ancient war, the sacrifice, the merging of her people with their world. Humanity had to know, but would they believe? When he reached the camp, the crew surrounded him. Dr. Marin, the mission scientist, stared at him in disbelief. "Where have you been?" "Your suit showed you underground then." "Nowhere." Ryan removed his helmet. I met someone, he said simply. An Elizaran. The camp went silent. A few laughed uneasily. The captain stepped forward. You're saying you found a living native? After all our scans? Ryan nodded. Her name is Lyra. She's part of the planet, or what's left of it. She showed me everything. Marin crossed her arms. Hallucination. Oxygen levels here can affect perception. I warned Command about that. It wasn't a hallucination, Ryan said firmly. This world is alive. It remembers. If we keep drilling, we'll wake something that can destroy us. The captain frowned. That's enough. We came here to extract energy samples. You're tired, Lieutenant. Get checked by medical. Ryan stepped forward, his voice rising. Sir, please. You have to listen. This isn't just rock and gas. The core contains the consciousness of billions. If we break it open, we could… Lieutenant! The captain's voice snapped like a whip. You're out of line. Ryan stopped. He saw it in their faces. Doubt, frustration, the same blindness Lyra had warned him about. They wanted proof, not words. He clenched his fists. Give me 1 hour. Let me show you what I saw. Marin sighed. And how do you plan to do that? Your sensors recorded nothing unusual. Ryan hesitated. Then he remembered what Lyra had done, the light she placed inside him. He closed his eyes, focusing on that faint warmth in his mind. The ground beneath them began to hum. Instruments beeped wildly. A faint blue light spread in a circle around him, glowing through the dust. The crew gasped and stepped back. What in the hell? The captain began. Ryan opened his eyes. They glowed faintly silver. She shared her memory with me, he said softly. You're seeing what she sees. Images appeared in the air. Holographic projections of light and motion. The city of crystal. The Elizaran people, their fall, their transformation. The humans watched, silent and frozen. The beauty of it filled the camp like a sunrise. When the images faded, no one spoke for a long time. Finally, Marin whispered, That was real. Ryan nodded. Yes, and this planet trusted me to tell you. The captain looked uneasy. Even if what you say is true, Command expects results. If we go back empty-handed, they'll send others. Worse ones. We can't stop them. Ryan looked toward the glowing horizon. Then we make them understand. Not through data, through action. How? Marin asked. He thought for a moment. The core isn't just memory. It's communication. It reacts to intention. Lyra said Elizera listens. If we show respect, maybe it will answer. The captain rubbed his temples. You're gambling the mission on faith in an alien ghost. Ryan smiled faintly. Sometimes faith is what keeps us human. The captain studied him for a long time, then sighed. You've got one chance, one. They followed Ryan to the edge of the field where the drills had cut deep into the soil. The air shimmered faintly. Ryan knelt, placing his hand on the ground. He spoke quietly. Lyra, it's me. The humans are listening now. At first, nothing happened. Then a soft glow spread from his palm. The wind picked up, carrying faint whispers. The light rose into the sky, forming shapes, 1,000 shimmering figures like Lyra watching silently. The crew fell to their knees in awe. Marin covered her mouth. They're beautiful. One figure stepped forward, Lyra. Her voice filled the air like music. You have seen what was lost. What will you do with it? The captain swallowed hard. We came to take energy. To help our own dying worlds, Lyra's expression softened. Need is not wrong. But taking without care brings only ruin. Elizera can share, but only with those who give in return. Ryan stood. Then we'll protect it. We'll make sure no one harms this place again. The captain looked at him, then at her. How do we do that? Lyra extended her hand. A bond of trust. Between Elizera and your kind. But know this, human captain. Trust is a fragile light. The captain hesitated, then nodded. If this stops another war, then we'll honor it. The glowing figures began to merge, forming a beam of light that reached the orbiting ship. On the bridge above, human computers filled with new data. Clean, endless energy models drawn directly from Elizera's natural cycles. A gift instead of a weapon. Ryan felt the warmth spread through his body again. He heard Lyra's voice inside his thoughts. You kept your promise. He smiled faintly. You kept yours. The mist thickened around them. One by one, the glowing figures faded back into the earth. Only Lyra remained, her eyes shining with quiet gratitude. Will you ever leave this world? He asked. She shook her head gently. I am this world. But through you I will see the stars again. The wind rose, lifting her silver hair like threads of light. Do you wish to see it, human? She whispered one last time. Ryan's heart ached at the words. I already have, he said softly. Her smile was the last thing he saw before she dissolved into the light, leaving only peace in her wake. Days later, Odyssey 9 prepared to leave orbit. The captain's final report to command spoke not of resources but of a treaty, a living world and humanity's promise to protect it. Command didn't understand at first, but the data they received was enough to make them listen. Ryan stood by the viewport again, watching a laser aglow beneath them. It no longer felt distant. He could feel its quiet heartbeat through the silence of space. Marin joined him. You think we did the right thing? He nodded. We gave back what we took, respect. That's worth more than energy, she smiled faintly. You really believe she's still down there? Ryan looked out at the blue clouds swirling below. She's everywhere now, watching, remembering. For a long moment neither spoke. The ship turned slowly, catching the light of Elizara's twin suns. Then the engines flared, and humanity's explorers set their course for home. Far below, the planet shimmered once, a pulse of silver running through its clouds, like a heartbeat answering from afar. And somewhere deep in Ryan's mind, a gentle whisper lingered, not haunting but comforting, like the memory of a friend. Do you wish to see it, human? He smiled, his reflection glowing faintly in the glass. Yes, he murmured. Always. The stars stretched ahead like an ocean of light, and for the first time in human history, one man truly understood what it meant to see. Not to conquer, but to connect.